Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, you guys? Binge eating is probably one of the most worst habits you can have when trying to lose weight and, get healthier and stuff like that. And I would know because I have a huge problem binge eating. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys what I specifically did to improve my binge eating, because it's really hard to go from this bad habit to never binge eating at all. If you're a person like me, you love food, you love heavy amounts of food, you love different kinds of food, salty, sweet, savory, and you just want to eat all of it all the time. All you think about it is food. When you're driving, food. When you're working, food. When you're bored, happy, with friends, with family, food, 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 food. Like, I understand. Trust me. But this is also preventing you guys from making a lot of progress. Monday through Friday, you're good, you're sticking to your diet, but come Saturday and Sunday, possibly even Friday come along, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're eating 2 bowls of cereal, you're eating 6 waffles, you're eating a Hot Pocket, you're eating some bread and butter. That's kind of like the cycle I usually go through. And then, you have to start all over again with your whole journey with losing weight. All the progress you've made that week before gets completely destroyed, and now you have to start from zero again. Your face is bloated. You feel like shit. You feel defeated. You're just annoyed that you keep going through this cycle over and over and over and over and over again. So how do you break it? That's exactly what we're talking about in this video. So there's 2 things that I use to help improve my binge eating, and that's going to be time and persistence. Persistence meaning, when you do fail, when you do mess up, the ability that you get back up and restart and try again, and not waiting like 3 months because you feel discouraged and then deciding to pick up your health and fitness journey back up again and eat better. You can't do that. You have to have persistence to mess up, to know that you messed up, to get back up again and get right back to it. Your ability to do that and just getting back up again after you fail is going to improve your ability to stay consistent with eating healthier foods. So what I mean is, like, you fail and then you get back on track. You fail again, you get back on track, but this time you lasted, a couple more days. You fail, you get back on track, but now you lasted, like a week. And then you fail again, and then now it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So your ability to get back up and trying to practice pushing back your binge eating is gonna help you, just develop that ability to hold off on binge eating. It's like you're developing your skill of discipline, and like we've talked about in other videos, discipline is a skill, and you're kind of improving that aspect of things. Now, one way you can help yourself stay, not binge eat, and to help yourself stay more consistent and disciplined with not binge eating is by indulging in some of the foods that you love throughout the week. So Monday through Friday, if you're like me, you like to get results fast, so you'll go hard in the paint, you'll eat better, you'll eat super clean and work out all the time. And but that's kind of what ends up being the reason why you end up binge eating in the first place. And you guys know this. So by indulging in some foods that you love throughout the week, maybe like if you love pizza, have a slice of pizza on Tuesday, have some, bread and butter on Thursday. By indulging in some of the foods that you love throughout the week, it's going to cause that reset to happen where you're motivated to get back on track again. You're ready to, push forward. All right, I got distracted. I had to say bye to someone, and I felt bad as they were leaving my house, so I had to stop and, tell them bye. But back to what I was saying. Indulging throughout the week is going to help you push back your urge to binge eat because it acts as like a reset button. A little example of this is, how you binge eat on Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday night you're like ready and motivated to handle the week, and you say you're not going to binge eat this weekend. That little reset you get by indulging in these foods throughout the week, it kind of acts as like a little tiny reset because you kind of feel bad a little bit by indulging a little bit. So you're like, okay, let's get back on track, So it's like that little spark of failure kind of causes you to keep pushing forward towards success. So that's really what I mean by time and persistence, persisting to get back up right after you fail, but indulging throughout the week to push back that window of when you actually do fail and binge eat, because you're going to fail. It's guaranteed you're going to fail again with binge eating. If your habit is as bad as mine, you're probably going to fail. So getting back up, indulging, and learning to push back that window where you start binge eating staying persistent with that over time, month after month, eventually it gets better and better and better until where you like start to improve it. Like that's what it's all about. It's not about fixing your habit in an instant when you've been used to binge eating for all of your life. It's all about improving it. So another little tip that I use to get better at binge eating, to improve this bad habit, is when I actually am binge eating and I'm eating 2 bowls of cereal and 5 Hot Pockets and fucking like the whole box of waffles, I let myself indulge in all these different foods because, again, I love food, but I just try to reduce the amount of food that I eat by a little bit. Not by a lot, because then I won't, satisfy that binge crave that I get, but by a little bit. So instead of getting 2 bowls of cereal, maybe it's like a bowl of cereal and a half. And then, when I move on to the waffles, instead of like getting 6 waffles, I get 4 waffles. And then instead of getting like a full plate of rice, I'll get like 3/4 of a plate of rice. So it's all about making just those tiny little improvements to allow yourself to binge eat so you satisfy that craving, but you're still kind of putting in the effort to change. By doing that over time, that's what's going to allow you to get a lot better and improving your binge eating. So that's what I have done. Now, another little tip that I've learned by accident that helps a lot with binge eating is cutting out the carbs. And this can be like rice or just even healthy breads like wheat bread. Cutting that stuff out dramatically helps me stop craving to binge eat. So I found this out by accident when I was trying the animal-based diet, which is basically cutting out like all the starchy carbs like potatoes and rice and bread, and all you're really eating is like meat, dairy, cheese, and fruit. That's about it. When I was on this diet, I just realized like, damn, I'm not really craving a lot of the bad foods that I used to crave. And that's how I started actually fixing this binge eating habit. So by switching to more of a higher fat diet, which is what the animal-based diet is really about, a higher fat diet, so like ribeye steaks, high percentage fatty ground beef, and by cutting out the carbs, it made me crave binge eating a lot less. So I would suggest trying this animal-based diet and cutting out like the rice and the breads and see how it affects you. It only helped me, and it helped actually a lot of my clients as well. So, I can only assume that it would work for you. The only carb that I still include into my diet on a daily basis, when I'm not binge eating, of course, is potatoes. I can have potatoes and it won't cause that gluttony like feeling that I get to crave binge eating. So I still eat potatoes. I eat single ingredient foods. I have those high fat protein diets like the animal-based diet. By sticking to that diet, it really helped me out. So that is basically how I've improved my binge eating, with persistence and developing that discipline skill, by pushing off binge eating as far as I can, by indulging throughout the week a little bit, and by cutting out the carbs and sticking to more of an animal-based diet. Those things have really helped me. And then the last one is cutting out some of the food I'm eating when I'm binge eating. By doing those 4 things, it's really helped me improve my binge eating. Now, I do want to say one last thing. You have to calorie count. When you are indulging a little bit into, some of the foods that you love throughout the week, when you're indulging in that, you still have to make sure you stick to your calorie range. That way you still stay on progress, but you cause that reset factor that allows you to stay on track and not binge eat and push back that binge eating. Implement this. If you never make that conscious decision to start working on this, nothing's ever going to change. It's not magically going to just start disappearing just because you learned about this. You have to start making that conscious decision to do it. One last tip, because it just came to my mind right now, is when you have your strongest feelings of binge eating, when you just can't take it no more, you can't take it, you keep going to the fridge and closing it, you keep going to the fridge and closing it. If you can stop yourself from binge eating for that day and you can hold it off till the next morning, that is a time that I've seen the most growth in increasing that discipline skill and persistence skill of being able to push back your binge eating. By getting over that little hump, when you're craving it the most, when that little monster comes out and it's ready to attack some food, pushing that back for that day, like just your experience points in not binge eating goes up by like fucking 5,000. That's all I have. I hope this helps. If you're struggling with weight loss, building muscle, struggling with discipline, and you're looking for a one-on-one coach to help you get to your goals, click the link below and we can make a game plan for you to get you to your goals.